Hi, this is Jacqueline here with the GROW program. Thank you for growing with me on today. I want to let you know that we have a God-given purpose. We're here for a reason. We have a God-given purpose, and we have to find it. See, we so caught up in what the pastor want us to do, doing our work in the church, trying to be there for the pastor, trying to do this, and thinking that's our God-given purpose. Your God-given purpose is not to change up yourself in order to fit inside somebody else's circle. Your God-given purpose is for you to be you. Forgive all, and then find what God has here for you to do. Because I'm telling you something, you can get so caught up in the pastor and the church and this and that and the other, and then completely miss what God has here for you to do. Completely miss your work with his people and what he has to do. What he has for you to do. Rise to be a legend. Rise to be a legend. All legends are not famous. Rise to be a legend in God. Because I'm telling you something, God can put something right there for you to do, some work for you to do, and you will miss it. Because you off doing something else. You off involved in some chaos, negativity, and drama. Off involved in somebody else and they drama. Missing out on the whole entire purpose that God had intended for you to do. A God-given purpose. A God-given purpose. See, we so busy doing us. We doing me. That we can't do God. We can't work on what God has for us to work on. And that's his people. That's really what it is. It's working with his people. Now, I want you to think about something. Rise to be a legend. Not all legends are famous, okay? Not all legends are famous. Think about somebody who really, really influenced you in your life growing up. Could be your grandmother, could be your mother, could be your uncle, auntie, somebody, who really, really influenced you in life. And that's a legacy that they left you. That's a legacy. That's what we have to do. We are here to live a legacy. That's why, when I talk about these rappers, they all legends in their own right. They're all legends. It ain't gonna be no another Tupac. It ain't gonna be no another Biggie. It ain't gonna be no another you. We're all legends in God. We have to rise to be a legend, and we have to rise to meet the challenge. Working with his people. I want you to look at somebody. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, she don't have to do what she did. She's a lawmaker, there in Washington, D.C., but she's reaching out to help with God's people. There is a need. While some people decide to go on vacation, do different things, there is a need with God's people. And we got to be there. We have to rise to the challenge and rise to be a legend. Because I'm going to tell you something. We sit up and ignore God's people and go on off and do our church thing, being there for the pastor, thinking it's all about dressing all up GQ and going to church and seeing if you dress better than the next person or who dressed the best, going there and draw attention to yourself. God don't like that. That's pride. Pride goes before destruction. You all pride and boast and think you all this and all that. In the meantime, God's people are suffering. You'll see a person suffering and you'll step right over and keep on walking because, see, you'll feel like that ain't what you supposed to be doing. But if you see a need and you see where you can help and do for God's people, do it. And don't always look for some type of recognition. Some church folks get so, they get so dressed up, so prideful and so boastful. They get to where they won't even invite you to come to their church. You're not good enough to come to their church. That you ain't good enough. But that's God for you. That's Christians. Those are Christians. And see what these people do with their ways, their evil ways. They will turn somebody else against church. They will. By their ways, they'll turn someone else against God. I've seen it happen where you've see, because evil jump off in all kind of folks. It's a spiritual warfare that we're in. So, that's why people act the way they do. Because they acting out of evil. They not acting out of the heart, out of true love. Because see, that's how we used to act, but we don't act like that no more. It's true love and a desire to help God's people, not selfishness. Selfishness will really keep you from God. Selfishness and pride those are type of things that keep you away from God. But we are so caught up in ourselves, me, and what I want, what I'm gonna do, what I got to have, and not even thinking about God's people, really, honestly. And I'm really honestly not trying to steady jump on this congressman. I'm not. But it just shows, for example, when he loaded his family up and went to Cancun and left everybody else there to suffer. That's not leadership. That's not what a lawmaker does. And then you got a lawmaker who's not even a part of Texas, not even part of that community. Has she thought about how to thought like the old leader thought? These are the blue stakes and the red stake. Well, that ain't none of my stake down there. If she thought like that, these people would have continued to suffer. So see how we got to live. We got to rise to be a legend. We really do. We got to get in where we fit in. Just like the GROW program. It's a program, it's a movement, and it's a ministry. And you got to get in where you fit in and rise to be a legend. Be a part of the movement. Even if you just listen to me talk, be a part of it. Even if you get on Twitter, even if you get on Facebook, just like something, be a part of the movement. We need all the soldiers in God's army, because this is about God's people. It really is. It's about God's people and about lifting and oppressed people, And we are all God's people. And we all have a heart. We all have to love. God commands us to love. He don't command us when you see your brother or sister down and hurt and suffering and going through. He don't want you to walk all over them and step over them and push them all to the side and push them all out your way because they all in your way. You don't want them around you. That ain't none of your problem. It ain't got nothing to do with me. No, that is not how we supposed to be in God. Especially you call yourself, a child of God. And see, that's another thing. Religion. We get so caught up under religion and going to church, doing for the pastor, praise and worship team, usher board, deacon board, all this other foolishness. And our heart be so twisted against our own people, against your brother and your sister. Be so twisted because you're driven out of evil. And evil is not racist. You need to change your evil ways. Change that evil heart, because you will completely miss the blessing that God has in store for you. You will completely miss it and be lacking and be without, because you chose not to rise to be a legend. You chose not to be there for God's people. Someone suffering, someone going without. That ain't none of my pride. Ain't got nothing to do with that. That ain't none of me. Why not? Why isn't it you? You're here. You got a purpose. You got a God-given purpose. And you ain't even took the time out to find it. We got to search it. We got to find it. We got to search our heart. We got to meditate to the Lord for clear answers and perspectives. We can't be thinking and going to God, and not being able to hear what he has to say, what he has to tell us. Being able to get a word from our beloved ancestors, who are with us to guide us. And protect us and watch over us, but we have to be able to hear the word from God. Don't put no hateful music in your ears. Don't be around no chaos, negativity, drama. Don't be around that foolishness. Go and seek peace. I go to the ends of the earth, to the farthest corners for peace, joy, and happiness. I will. I look out the window. I don't look to the TV. I look out the window. I look to the hills, which cometh my help. That comes from the Lord. Get my answers from God, not from man, from God. We can't change ourselves to call ourselves fitting in somebody's little circle, to change us to be able to fit in what somebody else wants for us to be. Because see, God made us the way we are. We are the way we are. We can't change nothing about us. What we got to do is start improving us. Rise to be the legend. All legends are not famous. And it's some cold days. It's going to be some cold days. It is. And you have to think about this. The light of God is the warmth that we need. Because without the light of God, we'll die. It's just like a plant, that don't get no light. Don't ever get to see the sun of God. The light, and it dies. It will die. Without the light of God, it will die. And the same with us. Without the light of God, we will die. If you're not showing your brother and sister the light of God, they will die. Spiritually, they will die. And we will too. Greatness reached over oppression through wisdom. All over the world. Through wisdom, people. The wisdom comes from God and our beloved ancestors. It's working. We're growing. Grow is only 4 months old. But we are all over the world, in 32 countries, and all over the United States, growing with love. Love drives out hate. Treat one another better. Love one another. You still be cautious and be careful, of course. But you show love instead of hate. Because the love, just like Dr. King, it's a true message, as clear as day. Love drives out hate. Destination up ahead is genuine equality and greatness in God. God bless you.